It's Jupiter at night. Whoa! Presented live before an audience on the internet. Whoa! Jupiter at night. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night. My name is Jeremy.
I'm John.
And I'm Alan.
And we don't have a Chris. We got rid of him.
He's fired.
Tonight, we're going to be doing our Looking Towards the Weekend show. You know, it's Thursday night, so we're looking forward to the weekend. And actually, this is just something that I'm looking forward to. I force-fed this content right down both your gullets.
Right.
I'm still a little confused.
Technically true.
They don't know anything about this.
Yes.
But I'm sure you do, because you are dedicated nerds out there, internet land. We're going to be talking about the HBO show that's coming up this Sunday, premiering on Sunday. It's
Side note, none of us have HBO.
None of us do.
Yeah.
But we have the internet, and that's good enough, right?
Right.
So the show is called The Game of Thrones, and this is an accurate presentation of what it kind of entails. So that's enough. You'll get it eventually. Well, now, tonight's show, because these guys have never read the books.
No.
These guys have never really watched much of the promos or anything about this.
No, there's an ad in Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
I knew nothing at all.
And there's some kind of throne in New York or something, right?
So this is going to be a big old fail show.
I saw
Basically
Game of Thrones, and I thought it was going to be some video game show on HBO, and I'm like, oh, this could be cool.
You know what's funny is I pitched this show to Chris like a week and a half ago, and every time I mentioned Game of Thrones, he's like, yeah, I'd love to do a video game review on Jupiter at Night. Like 4 times.
Because he just wants to dissolve the lot, so.
Just So, this is based on a series of books. You guys hold up one of those, because these are by the author George R.R. Martin.
Dick Kendall.
There's 4 of them so far. The 5th one is coming out in July. We've got a link in our show notes if you'd like to pick those up. They are awesome, guys. If you like fantasy novels, you need to read this series. It's adult fantasy fiction, which is why it's appearing on HBO. Because there's sex and beheadings and lots of violence.
Nice.
And boobies. We'll get into that a little bit later. Let me give you a little bit.
You don't want to wait, do you?
We can get into the boobies now.
Can't we just talk about that?
I will later.
So it's adult. Okay, right.
Because
adult fantasy.
I want to tell you a little bit about the story of this, and you guys. I gave you a little bit of a primer ahead of time, so if you have any questions, just interrupt me here. The whole story is the quick version is it's like The Sopranos, only there's 7 families instead of 1.
Okay.
And they use swords instead of guns.
So it's like a magic mafia?
Yeah.
Okay.
But are all the families against each other?
They are all against each other in some way or another.
Man.
Some form temporary alliances with one another to take others down, and it's all very much intrigue and drama and politicking a little bit, but it's
and sex double cross
with boobies and swords,
right? Okay,
and beheadings and stuff like that. Plus,
as it would have to be,
behind all of that human drama that's going on, there's also this supernatural threat from beyond that might be invading the kingdom.
This maybe.
So it's kind of all this overarching evil that you have to keep remembering, and nobody in the world actually really knows about, but you as the watcher or the reader They keep making references to it just to keep it in the back of your mind.
Okay.
And it's
so there's a single chapter with the sentence, and something bad might be happening.
No, it's more like the people in the book, the characters actually make reference to it, and they're just yeah, whatever. That's not really going to happen. But they keep referencing it, so you as the reader are like, you're wrong. And,
that's actually, you start yelling at the books like, you idiot!
If you haven't
There's someone on a broomstick over there, but I'm not going to worry about it.
If you haven't seen anything about this, it's actually a 14-minute preview out there. Now, this is cool for a couple reasons. One is that it sets up that supernatural threat really well. The other is that it sets up the massive scope of this fantasy world. I mean, one of the first scenes that you see in this is these people walking out from underneath the wall, which is a 100-foot tall, infinitely long wall of solid ice, 100 feet thick as well.
Okay.
And it's just this epic shot of these horses riding out from underneath through a tunnel in this incredible. I've got
cold
a picture
horses
of it here. Cold horses.
Right.
Don't doubt that. Let me show you a picture because I know I can get it here. But yeah, it's just this incredible, vast. People expect that, I think, from a fantasy world these days, and HBO will not disappoint.
Just a glacier.
Oh, I mean, they're spending some serious money on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely are spending money on it. I mean, that looks pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's incredible. There's more visuals in the show notes if you want to check those out. Actually, let's get talking about some of the money going into this because I'm amazed.
Okay.
And actually, one of the reasons I'm so excited about this is because HBO seems to be spending such a amazing,
They really believe in it,
amount of
right?
money on it. Like they're just freaking out over this.
I think they kind of figured out if you're gonna do it, you just have to go for it, and otherwise, all the fans like you are now uber excited about it.
Right. Works
And
out well.
that's a good thing
Waterworld.
because
Waterworld. Oh, that
doesn't
sword in
always
our
pan
side.
out. You're right.
Right.
But,
Yeah, yeah. No, at least it looks nice.
I
Good
got this
intent.
link in the show notes to an article that's Game of Thrones by the numbers. And let me tell you just some of these off the top because these are astounding.
Okay.
They have already spent somewhere between $50 and $60 million on this series, and they've only completed shooting like 4 or 5 episodes from the first season. And this is an ongoing story.
Now,
That's,
how many are there going to be a season? Do we know?
I don't really know. I don't know if that information is out.
It's like Sopranos did, I think, 12, right?
Let's see.
I think
Actually,
that's, I think
this is
that's
by
really
the
standard. I think
numbers,
that's
so
what
let me
True
see
Blood
if-
does.
I would
This
imagine
article
10
doesn't
or
tell
12.
me. That's terrible.
Okay.
But on the other side of money, they are actually selling these episodes, to places overseas, so that you guys that don't have HBO outside the U.S. can actually still watch them.
Well, the books are big overseas, I understand. Is that right?
There are over 4.5 million of these books in print, and the 5th one, which comes out in July, so they'll probably print another million within the first month.
It's not even done yet, the series.
No.
So I also heard that these were originally just a trilogy, and then he just kept going. It's like,
Yeah.
hey,
And
cash
that's-
cow.
That's one
That
of the
seems
reasons.
to happen a lot
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff.
It's not so much a cash cow as George
could
R. R.
it
Martin,
have
the author,
ended after 3 books? Do you think?
He
Okay.
wrote himself into too many corners.
Okay. All right.
But his initial outlines could have very well been a trilogy. But by the time he started getting that far, he realized there were so many more stories that could be told.
Right.
And it wasn't a matter of just wanting to do it to milk everybody. It was because they deserved to be told.
Okay.
That's what he said, anyway.
Right. Well,
You can follow the author actually on. He doesn't use Twitter. You believe that? He's not on Twitter. He's not on Facebook.
Good
he uses
for
Live
him.
Journal.
Well,
Remember that?
that's
Yeah.
still bad that he uses
From high
that.
school.
Right.
He used
Yeah.
Live Journal in high school.
But I was gonna say good for him for not using anything, but
No such luck.
yeah.
So they're selling these episodes for $2.5 million each overseas.
okay.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a freaking lot of money. Let me tell you some of these other astounding numbers. 583 people on the crew for this movie. That's like 200 more than we have on the crew for our shows.
Yes.
I mean, and trust me when I
A
say
lot of people.
catering is a bitch. 150 number of full sets of armor. 150 full sets of functional armor. I've got a video in our show notes that is about the guy that crafts all the armors and weapons.
So that means
Sounds tired.
when the show
I bet he's
does
tired.
end, you could be one of the lucky
dude, I'm buying a suit-
150.
I'm buying a suit of armor when this shit.
Oh man.
Start saving
Well, you
now.
are wearing it on this show.
Start saving now, dude.
That'll be probably about 2.5 million as well. Okay, let's get into some of the fun numbers because it's an HBO show, right?
Right.
So we all know there's going to be blood and
Yes.
movies.
Right.
So here's some fun numbers for you guys to look forward to. Number of topless women in the pilot. Both of you guess. Don't look at this.
I already saw it.
Oh,
I didn't see
Yes,
it. I'll
yes,
guess.
John.
I'll guess 6. Which,
close. There's 5
That's
in the pilot,
pretty high
in
for
a single episode.
Yeah, that's quite high.
Chat room says 17. That's not good. Okay, number of beheadings before the opening credits.
Ooh.
See, now this number is too high. It sounds bad for the series.
Okay, my realistic one is like 3, but I want to say like 12.
I'll say 2.
It's 3.
It's 3.
There's 3 people
Before
losing
the
their
opening
heads
credit-
before the opening
okay.
credits.
All right.
Realism.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they're all like lined up in a row, and they're
it's
doing
just
it like
one shot.
you know, in Karate Kid 2 where he breaks through all the ice. I
Oh,
hope someone's
yeah.
like some kind of
That
bet.
was a great movie.
Right.
No, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so an incredible amount of money. You know where they're spending a lot of this money, though, is on marketing. And I think this is one of the weird things about this show.
They haven't reached me yet.
I know. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I've been hearing about it just recently, actually, but I had no idea what it
Find
was.
me advertisers.
Let me tell you some
Try
of the
it.
things that they're doing out there to advertise this show. They have a web game that's been going in episodes for like 3 or 4 months now, where you can go and join this game. And originally, you could only advance to a certain point, and then they'd have to release the next episode. Now you can go play the whole thing at this point.
Okay.
Called the Meister's Path, and like you got extra prizes if you recruited people, kind of like a Facebook game and stuff like that. but you also got prizes in the form of like the top players got a signed personal letter and headshot from the author of the books.
That's cool.
As well as like actual swag from the prop makers of the series. Like
That's a lot cooler.
So I understand that like the author's like totally behind it. You said it's pretty faithful.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
the creators of the series are totally behind the author. They bring him on set all the time. And any of his input is apparently just totally taken, and they're like, "That's a great idea."
Well, I don't know how I feel about that because I haven't read the books.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've mentioned the books once before on the show, and as a positive thing. If you're a fan of fantasy literature, I think you should definitely check these books out. The first one is called Game of Thrones, the same as this series.
Okay.
So
it's easy
I haven't
to
read
find.
fantasy books since freshman year of high school, where I think I read my last Xanth book, which was pretty bad. It was we were talking about it on the chat room
Compared to
before,
Xanth,
and I just realized I was like, why am I reading this? This is horrible.
these are a little bit better than Xanth.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit better than Xanth.
What about like the last one I read was probably like Robert Jordan, like The Wheel of Time.
I think these are a lot better than Robert Jordan personally, but I'm a little weird on that. I'm not really a big fan of Robert Jordan. I think
That's the only way I've only read like
I think
3 of his.
Just my personal statement is reading The Wheel of Time is like slogging through a swamp. There's just too much there, and it's too lengthy and drawn out. But we're not talking about that tonight.
I was just asking in
Stop derailing me.
comparison.
Fine.
I wanted to prove to everyone I've read books.
Good job, Alan.
Yeah, I got through them.
Now, speaking of the author being way into this, one of their publicity stunts that they've done is they've been actually driving a food truck around New York City, around Manhattan, serving actual authentic food from this fantasy kingdom.
That's nice.
Like things like pickled eggs.
He's like $2.5 million. We are in the hole, people.
So now they're trying to sell food.
Right.
It was
Now are they giving it
terrible
away or
selling.
selling it?
They're selling it. And it's just like any other catering trucks in New York City are pretty common. You'll go out any lunch hour and you'll...
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But so these guys were actually selling food from the authentic Westeros cuisine. And George R.R. Martin has stopped by, I think, at least 2 of these stops.
He likes the food.
He said he liked the food, but he was also stopping by just to chat with people that are hanging out and eating the food from his world.
Now, do you think
How do you explain that? Like, oh, this catering truck, it's based on the fantasy book I read.
Yeah.
I wrote. What do you think?
So, like medieval food then? I mean, are you just copying or what?
It was pretty much medieval food, and it didn't sound really good, honestly. The one that sticks out is pickled eggs. I've never really thought that
People
that
go
was
crazy for that, though. Some people love their pickled
They were also
eggs.
selling lemon cakes that were apparently pretty good.
So I heard that there's also a actual throne that you can sit on.
Yes, and
In
it
New
is
York.
actually made of metal. I don't know if it's iron. I think it's aluminum, but it's like...
I'm not as impressed by that as you think I should be.
Yeah, me neither.
It's an iron
There are
throne,
lots of metal
dude.
chairs.
I kind of expect it now.
Check it out, though. I've got a picture of
Okay.
some random schmo on Facebook sitting in the throne itself.
That's like the real one they're using on the
Nice.
show or whatever.
It's a
I think
cast
that's
of the
Joaquin Phoenix.
No.
Okay.
Wah, wah. No.
I didn't actually think that was Joaquin Phoenix.
That's a killer chair, though. I'd love to have a chair like that.
Dude, you gotta start
Yeah.
saving your money if you want this
I know.
stuff.
I'm going to have to buy all
Right.
this crap. I think that I'm going to be as bad with this as Chris is with Star Trek. Like, if they start putting out toys and stuff like that, I'm totally
Buy
into
everything.
it. I'm doomed.
You're gonna every night you're gonna lug over your
So
Game
we're
of Thrones chair.
We need
That
more
doesn't look
donations
comfortable,
over
though,
here.
Jeremy.
No, and it's not. That's actually this throne in the books has a story. It's made from the swords of those that when the first Targaryen united the kingdoms.
Right.
He made all of the soldiers come and put their swords at his feet, and he took all of those swords and he turned them into a chair, a throne for him to sit on.
Okay.
Kind of a dick move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, what? You can't even have your sword to protect yourself? Like, give it up.
give up your sword.
Don't sit
I'm
right
gonna sit on
here.
Yeah. Blacksmith, we have a little problem.
Right.
This one's a little pointy. Yeah, so that
Okay.
was going around. It was at WonderCon. That was kind of genius, though, because there were so many celebrities at WonderCon pumping up their own shows, and then they invited him to come sit on the throne. So then, like, those celebrities were tweeting out pictures of the Game of Thrones, even if they had nothing to do with it.
Or have any idea what it
Nice.
was.
Smart.
I mean, that's just genius marketing right there. Yeah, even if they didn't have any idea, it was just, hey, come get your picture.
So you are
taken on our
super
big
aware of
floating
this.
chair.
I have just become aware of this. Ellen had never heard of this before
I
he
don't
stepped
know
into the
a damn
room,
thing.
right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to force you to read books again.
I read books.
You're going on a big fishing trip, right? You're going to have nothing.
I read the book you gave me really quick.
the World War Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have it. I haven't touched it.
I'll have to find my first one of these and
It
give that
would-
to you too.
I'll read it.
Do you
I
do
just read The
audiobooks
Maze Runner
when
and
you're on
Scorch Trials.
on the boat, or do you do regular books?
Regular books.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll try to get you a regular book.
I like to listen to music and then read.
One of the other weird,
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy.
crazy little publicity stunts they're doing. This is going on actually right now. Still in New York. I don't know. Why does New York get all the cool stuff?
Because it's huge.
Oh.
They turned a bunch of what they call pedicabs, which are just like bikes.
Rickshaws.
Yeah, rickshaws, basically.
Without
and they put
runners,
like the
they're on
Iron
bikes.
Throne on the back of them. And now these are driving
Just like a
around
rickshaw,
Manhattan.
except painful.
Yeah.
now, see, I could see that being awesome because if you're like the rider of that and you get like a new one, it's like sweet, like a new bike with a new chain. Like,
I'm sorry. If I saw someone like sitting in one on the street, I'd probably laugh at him.
Really?
Like who do they think they are?
okay, but
What, you ride around in a throne?
regardless if it's the throne one or not, wouldn't you laugh at the person and riding around on that?
Even if it's just a regular
Just a
pedicab?
regular
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Be like, wait, you can't walk?
Lame. So I am incredibly enthusiastic about this. I think
Okay.
that everybody should watch this on Sunday.
I'll give it a chance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have I turned you around, Alan? Are you interested in this now that even you hadn't heard anything?
I'm not
about
going to go out of my way to watch it,
Really?
but if someone's like, hey, here this is, watch this. I'm like, okay.
it? There are boobies, though.
I
already
personally
told
prefer
ya.
more like
A,
sci-fi
I don't have
stuff rather than
HBO,
fantasy.
and I'm not going to
Used to go the other way.
illegally, and I'm not going to pay for it. So
So there's a barrier for money there for you. That's the primary limitation.
I'm not going to pay for it.
It
Screw
kind of
that.
sucks that this kind of premium television is so hard to get these days. I mean, why doesn't HBO just have like a web app that you can pay a $2 fee for, or something
then
like
it-
that, or an iPhone app or something where you can download their?
You can probably buy their shows. I'm pretty sure you can buy their seasons
sure you
on,
can.
on like Xbox and
iTunes,
Samsung
or something
yeah.
like
stuff
I'm
that.
sure
like
you
Why do
that.
have
can.
to pay like $5 a piece for each episode.
I'm just
That's
saying.
totally ridiculous.
It's better than buying HBO if that's all you want it for.
Maybe since all I want it for is this show,
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna pay millions.
That's
of dollars
something
for
you're
all
going to
this
have to
crap.
figure out in your own time, sir.
You won't help me.
No.
No,
I helped you
fascinating.
enough.
I've got so much awesome information in these show notes, and I've skipped over all of it because I don't think that these guys are interested enough in it. You should be.
But he'll post the show notes.
Let me list the
yeah.
full cast. You know, I mentioned Sean Bean is in this, and all the scenes with him look incredible. Lena Headey from the Sarah Connor Chronicles is in this, looking amazing. Peter Dinklage, who is one of the greatest little people ever,
Right.
is playing one of the main characters in this. And Jason Momoa, who I know we have a lot of sci-fi fans out there, and you might know him from Stargate Atlantis.
I actually didn't watch Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. Brian said I should. I need to check it out.
It's so this dude, Jason Momoa, Peter Dinklage, Lena Headey, and everybody knows Sean Bean, right?
Yeah.
006, the one and only. So that's bad. I'm guys, you know where you'll find me on Sunday. In fact, I think I might even join our live chat rooms just so that I can like interact with other people that might be just as excited as me, because that's how excited.
Hello,
I am.
anyone? Anyone?
No, nobody's joining me.
It obviously seems like a lot of people are joining you in this if it's going to this extreme.
Yeah, if it's going this big, you know, I'll
And
check in to see what the buzz is
it's
about.
not
for
even
sure.
going into like a crappy movie or like movie trilogy where
No.
they try to like squeeze it out the best they can. If
Mm-hmm.
they do it this way and get what they want, you're going to get the show that the fans deserve.
Well,
I
you
think
know,
that's great.
HBO has a proven track record as of late. The Sopranos was incredible. True Blood is just getting incredible reviews left and right. Everybody loves
Curb Your
everything. that they're doing.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, it's great. I think that the combination of such a rich IP and HBO that seems to not only do good stuff but also respect the IP,
They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
I think
great.
it's going to be absolutely incredible. It could stink. I won't lie to you. I've already watched some of the previews, and a couple of the actors don't have very convincing accents. You know, I mean, they're Americans trying to do these British medieval.
Are it really
accents.
British, or is it from West, whatever the cowboy bar was called?
Westeros.
Westeros, yeah.
It could suck though.
Okay.
You've heard bad accents.
Oh,
Done by me, I think.
just before the show started.
Yeah, I can't do a Spanish accent, by the way, to save my life.
Yeah, we played Spanish Brothers in a play once.
Don't ask.
Yeah.
Is there recording of this show?
I hope not. God,
no.
it better be burned if there is.
I think you're lying.
Also, the first 4 episodes of the show are being directed by 4 different directors.
Anyone?
They all have pretty impressive resumes. I didn't get their names here, but like some of them have directed Sopranos and True Blood in the past. So they've got some chops, but the fact that all 4 of these different episodes are being done by 4 different people could potentially lead to kind of a disjointed show.
From what
different directors? I mean, that happens all the time.
From
though.
what I've gathered from TV shows, that's a pretty common thing.
That's totally
the
standard,
director doesn't do a whole lot.
All right. Well, then maybe that couldn't be a bad thing.
I doubt that'll.
But I think
affect
one
one
of
way
the
or
number one
too
thing
much
is that
one way or
actually
the
this turns you off, doesn't it? The number of characters in the show. Because I mentioned earlier, there's 7 houses.
No, I said that could really turn off America as a whole.
I think it could as well.
But it could go either way. It really depends on how they represent the characters, how different they are. Because if they're similar or their names are confusing and stuff, then I could see that becoming a problem with you, average America. Deal with it.
Not with us.
You're all dumb
We got
and
this
stuff.
down.
Okay, I think that's about it for something that maybe not everyone's interested in.
All right, well, that's it for the entire week. That's all we got. Join us again on Saturday. We're going to be doing a live Stoked. On Sunday, it's a live Lass. And actually, go ahead and plug this. Coming up soon, we're going to be going to Linux Fest Northwest. We're going to be spending an entire weekend doing amazing, awesome stuff all about Linux. You guys are geeky enough to understand what that is, why that's so exciting, right? Right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So join us for all that. Just keep staying tuned. And Office Angela tells me that Monday, our new show, which premiered today, was filmed live today, TechSnap, will be coming out on Monday, and you guys can check that out. It's a pilot episode of a new show that Chris and not this Alan, but the other Alan that shows up in our chat room. He's also guest starred on Lass a couple times, Linux Action Show. So they're doing a new show called TechSnap. Check that out and tell them what you think. That's all we got.
That's it.
We'll see you again next week for more Jupiter at Night. We're live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific. Join us then.